All right, here we go.
All right,
Boom.
let's do it. Boom. We're live. Look at
Live.
that. Look at
Look at
that.
that.
Crazy.
Man, isn't that wild just to be live? I just want to
It
say,
is wild, I gotta say.
yeah, I just want to say hello to all of our viewers, both new and old.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a special happy World Cup to those of you in the Middle East who may be new followers to our channel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, thank you for checking it out. And yeah, sampling our goods, if you will.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Sampling the podcast.
yeah,
Sampling the cast.
sampling the whole cast, man. Yeah, sampling our goods probably is not the best way to phrase that. So
Probably not, but it is what it is.
it is what it is. Man, did you get this shared by any chance? You get this shared, bro?
I'm working on that. I'm working on that. I really am.
All right, bet. Well, while you're working on that, again, welcome to all of our viewers, both new and old. Thank you for following us and getting on the live stream and the catch up with us. I have some snuffleupagus action going. It's tis the season. You know what I mean?
You sure do. You sure do.
It's not as bad as it was when I talked to Denson on the phone 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not good either. So I will be talking at a lower register than I have for a little while. But hopefully, through the process of this partnership, we can
Mm-hmm.
release and all the talking. We can release all of the phlegm that's built up inside my chest.
Mm-hmm. That would be great.
Not on camera. It'll be right when we go live.
Exactly.
right when we right when we stop going live. See, it's already working. Already working. Um,
See, talking is just the best medicine.
it really is. I tell people that all the time. That's why we have a podcast, you know. So, so all right, we got a lot that we want to talk about on this one,
Mm-hmm.
and
We
I think
do.
I'm gonna go ahead and hit record for our audio friends, so they can know what
Mm-hmm.
is.
That way we can bring them into the fold, man.
Yeah, so they can know the scoop, man. Gotta let
Mm-hmm.
them know. All right, we're rolling.
Oh
Okay,
man.
3, 2, 1. This week, I want to talk about something that is kind of blowing up more and more. You hear about it more and more all the time. Is a social media app. Although specifically, when you download it from the App Store, it says not another social media app, which I read as like, not another social media app. But how they're phrasing it is, we're not like other social media. I'm
Exactly.
talking
It's like
about
the anti-social media app.
it's the anti-social media. So I'm talking about Be Real, man.
Oh man, be real.
There it is. Look, we got my photo, my Be Real post,
Mm-hmm.
and the real Denison's Be Real post. I get it. I
Exactly.
see why you said the real Denison because you're being real.
I'm being real, man.
You're
I'm
being
being
real.
real. Exactly. And if you're, it's the new one that is sweeping the nation. Although in the limited amount of time that I've been able to check it out, it really seems like it's more young people, like a lot younger, like teenagers, very early 20s, people
Yeah, there
who are
weren't
on
too
it.
many of my friends that were on Be Real. There were
Yeah.
some that were in their late 20s, early 30s, and I was like, "What are you doing on here?
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing this experiment, bro." But but yeah, for the most part, it was younger, the younger generation, if you will. So,
Hmm.
Be Real, for those who aren't aware, it, as Dennison mentioned, is the latest sensation sweeping the nation. Okay, and it is a new social media app where once a day you you basically post. You're forced to post more or
Hmm.
less what is going on in front of you. You just it's literally this simple. You hold your phone up, takes a photo of what's in front of you, and takes a selfie
Yep.
at roughly the same time. Um, and so you're being real by showing where you're at and what you're doing, right?
Hmm.
And so it's interesting if you monthly active users in the past year have gone from 921,000
Hmm.
to over 22 million.
That's
Just
crazy.
Yeah, just shy of 3 million people use the app daily. Now, this is always interesting to me anytime a social media app takes off, like TikTok. I didn't know about it until all of the media outlets and all that kind of stuff they were talking about, right?
Uh-huh.
How did people find out about BeReal? I didn't hear about this until just a few months ago.
Mm.
But regardless, it is popping off, it is getting very popular. And really, that is as simple as it gets. You are showing what you're doing at the
Yep.
time it tells you to show what you're doing. Now, what is cool about it is everyone on your friends list is told to do this at roughly the same time. Okay.
Yep.
So you're all posting, you're all sharing what it is that you're doing. So um, that's an interesting aspect of it for sure. We want to talk about, you know, um, why is this catching on? We want to talk about the implications of it,
Hmm.
positives, um, and the negatives from a social standpoint. We've talked a lot about that with Facebook, TikTok, those type of things in the last couple of years.
Hmm.
And so I think it's worth this, not another social media app being discussed in the same way, right? And we also want to talk about the safety and privacy of it. You know,
Hmm.
by being real, or you maybe being a little too real, right?
Hmm.
I guess it depends. I guess it really depends. Yeah, I don't know. This could get some. Depends on how committed to the app you are, probably.
Yeah, exactly.
so, so we got a lot we want to talk about, and man, honestly, let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
that was good.
That was good. It was real good. Hold up.
Hmm.
Yeah, do this. Got
Hmm.
some stuff left music actually.
Okay. Well, while those of you who are while John is blowing his nose, blowing his
Oh,
brains out.
oh man. Oh, not doing that. Not doing that.
um,
Not doing that.
I'm back on the podcast with no glasses. It's great. It's great.
Oh wow, that is crazy,
I
huh?
It's been a wild ride, you know. I got to go back to my roots with glasses, man, and it felt weird putting my contacts in
Hmm.
today. So,
It's right. Longtime viewers,
mm,
you are not witnessing a new host of the Catch Up Podcast. This is still the same guy, just looks completely different.
exactly. I guess really, but it wouldn't be long time viewers. It'd be short term
Short
viewers.
time viewers. Yeah.
Shoot, short time. See, if you're new,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have noticed. You would have been like, oh man, what's happening?
Right. It's a little Clark Kent Superman-y. But
Exactly,
it
exactly.
is it is in fact the same Dennis and Rice, which is good to hear.
Yeah.
Um,
Sadly, I don't have superpowers. You know.
right, that is kind of a letdown. Um, can we get a guest host that has superpowers? They're gonna work on it, dude. They're gonna work
Yeah,
on it.
exactly. That was our producer.
That was
Stan.
yeah, Stan. Yeah, Stan Lee,
Yeah,
actually.
uh,
Um,
he's pretty great.
yeah. So, what made you switch back to the old contactaroos, dude?
Oh man, I got the all clear. I got the all clear from my eye doctor. I was beforehand. I was having some eye irritations, so that was all
From
the way back in
contacts.
yeah
Yeah.
from contacts. It happened all the way back in I think October it was
Okay.
mid October, and so um, he kind of said, "Don't wear your contacts until I say not to." And
Gotcha.
so today was Judgment Day to see if I
Yeah.
needed to keep my contacts off for a little bit longer, um, or if I would, um, or if I would, be able to put them back on. So I
So
I
what
got the
what
green light.
changed? What changed that allowed you to put them back on?
Well, my eye doctor said at the time, my eyes had essentially the portion around your iris, right, had swollen, um, quite a
Okay.
bit. It was
Yeah.
something like, normally your iris, or not your iris, but the white part of your eye or whatever like that is about, this thin. And mine was about this big, something
Okay.
similar to that. And so it was swollen because of some sort of irritation that was probably caused by my contacts. And so, yeah, he gave me some eye drop medication and some other stuff to
Nice.
help kind of soothe my eyes and get them back to where they were.
Good. Yeah, I spent a week and 2 days with Denison, and this is the first I'm hearing about this. So,
I'm
this has
pretty
been
sure I told you about this.
nah, bro. Nah, I would remember that. Come on now. Come on now.
I'm
Come on.
almost certain that I told you about this.
Nah, probably not. Probably probably not. No, man. No, I'm glad. I'm glad that you're able to rock the contacts again, man. For sure.
Mhm.
You look quite studious with glasses. So, I mean, if you ever have to go back to it, you can make it work. You know what I'm saying?
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
I try.
Yeah. So, no, for sure. Let's go ahead, do our intro, get into it.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. All right, here we go. Three, two, one. What's going on, everybody? I'm John,
And I'm Dennison.
and this is the catch up. I don't know why. I don't know why I always lean into it. So
You
I'm like,
gotta
I might
get
as well just
close, man. You gotta
turn
get real close.
real close. Yeah.
See?
Oh,
You can't even
oh,
do it. I'll do it for you. Yeah.
yeah, I can't hit those low notes right now.
Mm.
All right, here we go. Three, two, one. Before we get into our topic, I want to let you guys know the three best ways you can support the show. Number one, leave a rating and a review. Let us know what you think of the show wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching. Some platforms have subscribed, some have like, or thumbs up, that kind of a thing. If it's positive, leave something positive. If it's negative, don't leave anything at all. But if you can give us a review, let us know your thoughts about the show. And each comment, each review that you give, it tells each algorithm that people are reacting to this show, and it'll put us out in front of more potential listeners. So please do us that favor. It's a cheap, free, quick way to help us grow the show. Number two, throw up the two. There we go. Yep, there it is. It's not official until we get it. Okay. Number two, jump on the live stream. Obviously, we have people on the live stream. Right now, we are live streaming on Facebook and on YouTube. So if you're listening to the audio platform, jump on the live stream every Thursday night with us on both Facebook and YouTube. You can get in the conversation with us in real time, have comments with us, have conversation with us, and steer the direction of the episode. And number three, if you want if you, if you want to support the show financially, monetarily, you can go to our shop. It is linked wherever you're listening or wherever you're watching. Um, and you can buy one of our pieces of good, clean merch, man. We have it all. We got hoodies, t-shirts, long sleeves. We got beanies, we got hats, we got all kinds of things. So check it all out. You can stay warm this winter with some Catch Up Podcast merch, and it is top notch quality, let me tell you. So, with that said, let's go ahead and jump into the discussion on BeReal. Um, obviously, we laid the framework there. So,
Mhm.
Denison and I went ahead and created our profiles before we started
Mhm.
this live stream. For me, right before we started the live stream, and actually, it forced me, well, forced both of us, right upon creating the profile, to immediately take part in the Be Real thing. So we
Mhm.
immediately, like, I was forced to take a photo of what was in front of me, and then like my face, right? Um, other than that, we are learning it as we go. So this is really kind of
Mhm.
a Be Real unboxing, if you will, right?
Yeah.
And the goal here is, if we think it's worthwhile to get involved in, to stay in touch with other people, or maybe just to use to, because let's be honest, social media is just advertising. That's all it is anymore, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
So if you're going to use it to grow your brands, all that kind of stuff. Um, and what do I mean by that, right? So I honestly, if we didn't have this podcast, if I didn't have a band, I wouldn't use social media, right? I use
Same.
it to promote, and it works. It works. I man, okay, so I'll tell you a sidebar. This reel I posted on Facebook because I usually the high quality reels I share on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and on Facebook, I have three different ones right now. They're over a month old that are blowing up. One
Hmm.
in particular shows a clip of us covering the red by Chevelle, and it has gone. Let's see, I think it went from 1,000 views to 3,200 views in like 2 days, and I've gotten like 30 new followers off of just that reel. It's insane. Um, and so like that's a great promotional tool. A lot of those people have gone. I can see the analytics. They've gone to Spotify. They started listening to our album from that, right? So that's
Mm-hmm.
super cool. But even just like thirst trap posts, or bodybuilder, this and that, like they're all promoting something. Whether even if it's just they're them you giving them attention, they're
Yep.
still promoting that, right? So that's what I mean when I say that. Now, uh, long story short, we're gonna evaluate: is this worth your time, and is it safe? So, man, why don't you just give your initial thoughts about
Yeah.
the app right off the bat? And of course, we can dive into it. We can play around with it during the live stream, all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
we want
No.
also one more thing. Sorry, if you're on the
Oh.
live stream, let us know your thoughts. If you've tried BeReal, let us know your thoughts about the app. If you haven't, um, tell us why and let us know in the comments, man. So anyway, go ahead.
Mhm. Yeah, and also if you're on the podcast side, so you're listening to this, go on and since this is probably going to be a very visual podcast, go on and check us out on the Facebook page.
Jump on the live stream.
And go ahead and do a like for us on that page too, so that way you can kind of be more a part of that discussion. But yeah, I mean, uh, I'll say, um, my first impressions is interesting, right? It's just a very interesting app, right? I think I understand where they're going with, or I understand what they're trying to do with this application. I think there's a lot of really cool ideas here. Um, like, I do like that. There's two sections, right? So there's, just so you know, right? Actually, you know what? Yeah. So there's two sections. They have a friends, right? So anybody who's your friend on Be Real, and then you have Discovery, which allows you to kind of see everybody if you decide to post your Be Real moment, right?
Yeah,
Um,
right.
globally, you anybody who's on the app can see that. Um, so I do think it's a great way. And the thing too about it is that if you, at least from what I have found, right, if you go over to the discovery portion, right, the cool thing is that you can see, that person, you can see that person's, username, and then you can also see where they're posting from or whatever like that. Also, when they posted their deal. But the biggest thing is that there's no comment portion of it, right?
Yeah.
So unlike Instagram, right, where you take a picture and then you can post stuff on there. The only thing that you can do is a like, or uh, you know different types of emojis, but that's about it.
And there's
There's no
no
commenting.
there's no direct messaging either, is there?
No, no, there
Yeah,
isn't. I mean,
there's
you really just, yeah, you really just like say,
not.
like, if you were to find somebody on here, you would just like essentially add them as a friend, and then you just be a part of that be real moment. But there
Right.
isn't anything that um, that really gets you into that where you can DM people or anything like that. You can really only comment on posts that
Yeah.
from people who are in your friend circle. So I do kind of like that aspect because uh, now, of course, there are some downsides to it, but I feel like it takes you. There's less for you to think about. There's less for you to
True.
do. There's less of that draw to force you back into the application until really you do that the moment that you take your picture.
Yeah,
You'll maybe surf around on there for a little bit, but then after that, you trickle back to the rest of your, rest of your life, other things that you can do. There's less of that endless scrolling that you get with like Facebook or Instagram, or
definitely.
any of these other social media platforms. So I do kind of like that aspect.
I do
Um,
too. Yeah. No, I asked about the DM. Denison and I were talking about this before we started recording. Um, supposedly, somebody we went to high school with, which keep in mind we had 1,200 people in our graduating class, um, followed me on Instagram, and I was like, I don't remember them, but since I went to high school, I'll follow them back. And I did just get a return a return message. It says, if $1,000 was deposited to your Cash App slash Venmo, what would you use it for? This poor soul got hacked, bro. This poor soul.
exactly. That's
So
so unfortunate.
it is. And the thing about it, it's not really something there would be much incentive to do on this BeReal app. So again,
Hmm.
I'll show you guys here on the live stream. The only person that has confirmed me as a friend so far. I've only made like 5 friend requests. This is like older dad. But yeah. So anyway, here we go. It shows what you got, podcast time, blah blah blah, and then it shows your friends. And so here's Denson. He was chilling earlier with the robe on, I assume, watching some TV. In the yeah,
Hmm.
oh, I know where that is. Yeah. So and that's literally it. Yeah, you can like it. Yeah, you can view their profile, and see what their other posts have been throughout the days. You can leave a reaction, and you can add a comment. Yeah, you can add a comment, but
Hmm.
that's it. And even the reactions, they call them real emojis. Um, and it basically is like a picture of you.
Yeah.
It's basically a selfie. So um, it's interesting, man. I mean, there aren't a lot of people that I know on here right now, which is funny because
Same.
the usage is so high. Um, but again, even the people that I do know, I'm like, I'm kind of surprised that you're you're on here, to be honest.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
you have memories. This is cool.
Hmm.
So just like on
Hmm.
Facebook, excuse me, just like on Facebook, you have, um, yeah, where a year from now it'll show me what I posted on this day, right? Uh,
Hmm.
and then what else did I just see? Sorry, there was something else. Oh yeah, no, that's really it. So it really is, a pretty simple app to make. Now you can
Yep.
post these on Be Real. You can post these posts either for just your friends to see or for it to be seen on a global scale. Now, what I don't know is how the app decides what's going to show up on your feed for discovery, right? And the reason I say that, let me show you guys. Obviously, I just downloaded this app here, but let's take a look at. Okay, so I'm going to refresh it. I mean, these are nothing special. You would expect like some random high quality post. This looks like a Nerf gun kind of
I
thing,
do the same thing. So this is
right?
what I see on mine.
This
Just
person,
just
yeah,
random things. Oh, that's a text message.
yeah,
um,
yeah.
but yeah.
So I kind of am interested to know what makes them. I mean, is it the amount of reactions? It doesn't even tell you how many reactions there are on here.
Hmm.
So I don't know, and it's interesting because there's let's see, there's somebody that posted from Puebla, Mexico. Uh, yeah, U.S. obviously a couple places. Some people didn't put their location on. But yeah, I mean, just what this is. I mean, this dude's at the gym,
Yep.
so I am kind of interested to know like what makes him decide. Oh, we're going to promote this one. This is what you're going to see on your discovery page. You know what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, it does make me wonder. I mean, I will say it kind of looks like it tries to give you people who are close-ish to you.
Yeah,
Um,
I think you're right.
I think that's what it tries to do. And then it gives you, if you hold on to the picture, which is really interesting too, is that it gives you the exact time frame.
Right.
It doesn't in military time, but it gives you the exact time frame of when it was posted. And one of the things too that I want to kind of really um, emphasize on too is that um, on this discovery page, right? If you notice, whenever you are being real, right, when you're
Yeah.
taking that picture, it uses both the your front camera, and it also uses your rear camera,
Right. Right.
and it takes it at the same time. So that way, and there's no filters on here, so it's just literally your camera.
Yeah.
Which is another kind of really interesting, and I think kind of really cool type of deal that they do with that, is because it makes sure that people aren't doctoring their photos or anything like that.
Yeah.
I mean, you have about what, 2 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Um,
2 minutes, which is still a while. You could set some. Well, I guess unless you're completely caught off guard by the notification, then you'd be like, you
uh,
know. Um. Okay, so let's take this person for example, right?
mm-hmm.
hmm Um. Yeah. Where's the nearest Winn Dixie? That's where the apron is. Um.
mm-hmm.
This actually kind of leads to another discussion I want to have, but I and so I'm going to stop on this one. But if I went to view profile, this is something that so far I'm appreciating about this app. Now I could add this rando,
Mm-hmm.
but it says, "Whoops, it's going to try to zoom in on the face here." It says, "Add your real friends on BeReal."
Mm-hmm.
I think the last time I opened it, it said, "Add your closest friends."
Yep.
Uh, and so it's interesting to me because the model of every social media app, I feel like, is to try and get as many followers doing whatever by whatever means necessary. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and try to get your clout up in that way. And what Be Real appears to do off the bat is really be the quite the opposite of that. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Um, and really just try to make it like, hey, just connect with those that you're close with. And for me, like, given this view of this, given just, a quick trial run of this app, I really like it. I appreciate it. I like the goal that it's trying to accomplish. It seems like it's almost like what old school MySpace or even old school Facebook used to do. And that really was just keeping up with your friends,
Yeah.
That's all
Exactly.
it was. Like Facebook, like that's all there was. You had friends. You didn't really in the early ones, you didn't have businesses creating pages.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you didn't. No businesses were on there. It was just people you knew. And it was usually people who were local, right?
Yeah.
Like
Right.
MySpace.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially on MySpace. And so from that perspective, I really like it. From the other perspective, I was joking. I was being sarcastic. But that chick had a Winn Dixie apron on, right? Or
Mhm.
she didn't have it on, but it was next to her.
Yeah.
I don't think she put her location on there, but regardless, it does seem if you're going to put this out for the public post and you're going to put your location, it seems like a very high risk for your security. You know,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you're immediately being forced, like you're being forced to take what's in front of you and what you look like, a photo of that, and I guess it doesn't have to give your location, but let's just say you are, right? So you're giving your location, what you're doing, the timestamp, right? And it may not be your specific location, but you could still, depending on what it is, kind of surmise where you're at. That is really the only thing I would threat or kind of be concerned about right now is that, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. No, yeah, no. The internet is very good at sleuthing, right?
Yeah.
So they can kind of usually tell where you are by, certain locales and stuff like that. So I think you do have to be, you do, it still has that same type of social media aspect of where you do kind of want to be a little bit more careful about what you post, right? Or what you take a picture of. Because really and truly, right, you can miss your be real moment. That was the other thing that I noticed too.
Yeah.
Um, if you take too long, right? Because it gives you a 2-minute window when you actually click into the notification. But I think that notification only also stays up there for about 2 to 5 minutes or so.
Right.
So if you miss that, you just miss that. And so it could be one of those moments where you kind of have to just think about it. It's like, okay, am I in a spot that someone won't be able to, search the photo or whatever like that? But that's the
Right.
other thing too, is that especially if you're if you're posting it with friends, it doesn't matter, right? Which
Mhm.
is one of the biggest things about this is that you're trying to be you want to do it mainly for your friends. And if you post something global, uh, the fact that you can click on someone's profile and you can't actually see, or I guess what their quote unquote profile is, right?
Yeah, you can't
Um,
see their other posts
yeah,
because
exactly. You can't see the other posts. So it does make it harder for someone to do that. So I think there is a little bit of security there
I do
that
too.
can be gleamed or had there.
Yeah. I'll tell you too. I mean, really, to that point, that's what I like about this app. They're, at least right now, unadulterated. Not
Yep.
messed around. They really mean what they say in that it's not just another social media app. I mean, it really is, as far as what social media was intended to be.
Mm-hmm.
But there's very little incentive to post publicly. There's very little incentive to try and, I mean, even those public posts, they were no different than what you and I would have taken. And
Yep.
and to your point too, you can't doctor the photos. You can't um, alter them in any way. Brighten them up, put effects on, Photoshop them. Right? You can't do any of that stuff.
Exactly.
So it literally just is you're taking. It's kind of like, well, it's even kind of like Snapchat used to be. In a way, in
Yeah.
a way,
Very true.
in a way. Um,
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would say maybe Snapchat's original thought process was something similar to it. Yeah.
yeah, 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 exactly. But I like that idea because I'll tell you what, like just from a first glance, like not having, you know, really gone into this, I feel like Be Real is a better way to keep in touch with your friends and people that you're close with. Probably the best way in social media so far.
Yeah,
Because,
I'd say so.
yeah, because for people that follow me, right, they probably think, actually, I know this. Some people think I'm a full time musician. Some people think I don't have a career because that's all I post. But
Hmm.
that's just what I'm posting. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So if it's really centered around only your friends who you've mutually accepted can see your content every day, then they'll be able to keep up with what you're doing on the daily, but not even in a way where they just feel like they know, because that's another issue I feel like that social media provides, is they feel like they know everything about you based off your post, based off what you wrote, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
In a way, I feel like Be Real actually invites more conversation because it is non-descriptive. It's just a photo. And then you're like, oh, what were you doing the other day? Like, what was that? Let me ask, like, let's talk about it. Yeah,
Yep.
you
Exactly.
can leave a comment, but the at this point, the app is really not built around having that two-way conversation over there.
Hmm.
And I like that. I like that. If there were a way to virtually keep in touch with people, I would like it like that, where you could just have enough to have the person top of mind and even have a conversation starter, but not too much or even not being misled in a way as to what their life is like, you know?
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel the exact same. I feel like it's one of those where um you get to, well, not to use their name again, but you get to be real with your own friends. You get to be real with people who you have in your friend circle. Um,
Yeah.
and it takes out all of the trip photos. It takes out all of like flexing posts. It really, like you said, it gets you those good conversation starters to be like, hey, let me catch up with you. Like I
Yeah.
forgot. Um, I haven't had time to, talk with you normally, but now I have that opportunity. I see you're doing this. This looks cool.
Yeah.
Um, or just like, wow, there's your normal day life and stuff. And I do like that. I like that aspect very much. It takes away all of the problems, or I'll say not all, but some of the problems, some of the bigger, more prominent problems that modern day social media has.
Yeah. No, I agree. And, um, Dennis and I were talking about this before we went live too, that it just asks for your phone number and it uses that as a way to be able to gauge your contacts, and it's using your contact or your contacts on your phone, the other person's contacts, as long as you give that to them.
Yep.
Um, and I think you can look up usernames if you don't have that, of course. But um, other than that, it doesn't ask for your email. It doesn't ask for anything outside of that.
Yep.
I think the birth date is something all companies just have to do for legal sake, just to
Yep. They
prove they're
do.
not, marketing to a minor or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
but
I think the wording even said like to make sure that you're old enough to be on the app.
yeah, right. And that's the other thing too. It's better than Snapchat because it's once a day and that's it. It's only once a day. You're not like literally you can't post more than once a day, you know?
Exactly, exactly. And there's also what's one of the other things that's really cool is that it also, if you're looking, I've only really noticed this on the discovery feed, but
Yeah.
it tells you if someone's retaken it, and it tells you how many times that they've retaken their stuff too.
Oh wow.
Hmm.
Wow.
So
So like
of
for
course
example,
it's
I would probably have one just because I didn't know what was happening the first time I took it. But it,
Yeah,
it'll
exactly.
say retook.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and those retakes, of course, are within that 2-minute time frame, like,
Yeah.
it really counts down that number, so if you
Sure.
miss it, you miss it.
Right. Right. Which yeah, if that's what happens, that's what happens. So I mean, I'll be honest, man, when we talked about doing this, I was still in Texas with you.
Mhm.
We didn't think that um I didn't think I wasn't really particularly excited for it because I was like, oh man, it's another here we go. You know what I mean? Another
Yep.
social media app. Um and I want to say there are uh something I kind of jumping ahead of my thoughts here. Um famous people on Be Real. Let's take a look. Um yeah. Yeah, there are some famous people on here. What's that?
Mhm.
Oh yeah, there we are.
So there's that retake, that I wanted to show,
Oh,
and as
so
you
it
can
does show
tell.
it's one retake.
Yep, exactly, it shows that, "Hey, this is a retake," and I think that's a great way to kinda really emphasize, um
Sure. So here's something I want to check this out. So I know like Jimmy
Mhm.
Fallon has a Be Real, okay?
Mhm.
And I want to know how that works. Um, because I typed in Jimmy Fallon and I thought it
Mhm.
was like Tonight Show. Maybe if I type in Tonight Show. Um, but see, no. And that's I don't know how you connect with those people. That's what's interesting to me about it because um if I look up this is like a BuzzFeed thing. So okay. Oh, this is like if okay, wait. Oh, this is not real. Got it. Okay, understood.
Mm.
Um, yeah. Well, and you're only able to see what your friends post if you post. So that's interesting too. If you post
Uh-oh, that's, Seem like I've lost John. Let me see if this is on my end or what's going on here. But yeah, I seem to have lost John here on the show. I was thinking, oh man, it might just be lag on my end, but oh, there
No,
he is.
we're
He's
back.
popping back. There we go. All
We're
right.
back. That was really strange. Yeah.
That was very strange.
Yeah. No, we're all back. Yeah, sorry about that. So yeah, that was actually just like a joke article, it turns out. But
Hmm.
yeah, so you can't just find random people in here. They have to be friends of yours,
Yep.
which is really, really interesting. So yeah, I like that. I like the idea of this a lot.
Hmm.
Um, and I think it's got a lot of potential. It's funny. I was thinking about this TikTok that I saw. Okay,
Hmm.
and it was pretty funny. This guy, it's these two Australian dudes. You'd probably know them if you saw them.
Hmm.
They did this TikTok where they just successfully robbed a bank, right?
Hmm.
And they get home, they have all the cash, they throw the bag on the ground. The guy's like, I can't believe we just pulled that off. Literally, no one will ever know that we just robbed that bank and we got away with millions of dollars. And then the other dude's phone goes off and he's like, oh, hold up. I just got to be real. He's like, what are you doing, man? You're about to take a photo for Be Real? He was like, well, I have to, man. It's Be Real. If I don't take it in the next 2 minutes, I won't have an opportunity. And so it's literally them arguing. It's literally them arguing about him doing that. And he goes, and here's the other guy here's the photo snap, and he's like, "What? You did not just take that photo of all the money lying there on the floor?" He's like, "It's Be Real. I had to." He's like, "Besides, the way the app works, no one will ever know." And then like the cops bang on the door, they come and arrest him. It was really funny, but I don't know. Like that is an interesting. I guess it just depends on how serious you take Be Real, but you could end up in some pretty weird circumstances, I feel like, as far as what gets posted on there.
Yeah, very true, very true. But
Yeah.
I think there's that 2 minute time window, right? That makes it so that, if you got some strange things going on, you can move yourself,
Yeah.
remove
Yeah.
yourself from that strange situation, even just for a few seconds.
Well, yeah, and I was joking earlier, but for me, like, um, what if I'm playing a gig, right?
Hmm.
And I get a Be Real notification. I'm like, I'm not gonna just stop playing and be like, hey guys, can we just like pause the song real quick?
Hmm.
Gotta take a photo for Be Real. Um I don't know, man. It's weird. It's a weird situation.
That'd be
Um,
weird. But hey, on your gig though, you can just pull out your phone like as you're playing. I mean, it'd be weird, right? With one hand, but you could be
yeah,
like,
just like yeah, I think it can work. We'll see. We'll get to Saturday. That's the next show. We'll see what happens. I will say, man, I think I'm gonna give this a shot. I didn't expect I would like it.
Mhm.
But like I said, I think it does offer an actual opportunity to keep up with your friends on really just a better basis. It's not even the other trope of social media that this cuts out is the idea that you're only seeing what they want you to see, you know? Yeah.
Exactly.
You're not able to formulate any type of message or spin something one way or the other. It really is just you're being real. It's probably a really good name for this app, considering we've said it. The closed captioning on Facebook is going to be like blowing up on this.
Oh yeah.
So I think probably the next part of this discussion would be, will this last? We've seen really every social media start off with good intentions. Now, to be fair, I have always hated Snapchat. I
I have
hate
to.
that. Yeah, I hate that platform so much. But it just started off with sending photos back and forth,
Mhm.
right? And then it came up with the chat, and then it came up with the stories. And I'm like, what's the point then? Why are we doing this? Instagram
Exactly.
was just photos
Yep.
um, that you could hyper modify and make it look absolutely terrible by accident.
Mhm.
Um, and then Facebook, like I said, like it didn't used to have businesses on there. Um, And so, what do you think? I don't know. Do you think that this will last?
That's a really
Tik-
hard. Or sorry, go ahead. My bad.
no, I was just saying. I mean, TikTok even had more humble beginnings before. I forget the company that bought it, but
ByteDance, I think it
yeah,
was.
right. And now it's got ads everywhere and live streams everywhere, thirst
Hmm.
traps everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd be
I
interested in your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting, right? Because I think one of the biggest things that's really helping Be Real, and what at least from what I've noticed, right, is that it has a very young crowd.
Yeah,
And this kind of falls into the story that we talked about. It was probably a few months back, where Facebook was seeing a decline in users, younger users
yeah,
of the platform. Um, and so I feel like those younger users kind of essentially flocked over to Be Real because it was such a different interface and such a different experience, because they were some of the people who also, if I'm not mistaken, in that study were showing fatigue of the social media platform, which is really interesting, for, I guess, youths who grew up with social media, right? And to
yeah,
see that um, that aspect of it. Um, and yeah, and actually going to, so Christina just commented here saying, um, so many ads on all the social media platform, or all social media now. Um,
yeah. Hmm.
I think with that, I think going into that with Be Real, I think it's a really hard model to use for ads,
Yeah, I agree.
which is, I think, a good thing for user base, but I think for like a developer base, like an
Yeah,
actual company base, is kind of bad, because that's how they do most ad revenue. Like
yeah.
it's usually
That's how
through
they have
ad,
the most
or
income, is through
yeah,
ads.
exactly. It's through ads. It's ad
Yeah,
revenue has to be in there in some form or fashion. But I do feel like the way that the platform is set up, it would pollute the platform. Like, you would notice it far more than you would, say, any of those other platforms. Um, and so that is something that I think, is really interesting, and I don't know how viable of a product it will be in the long term.
yeah,
Um, or at
yeah.
least it'll be something that they'll have to try to figure out. Maybe they could do other sponsorship deals or something like that, but I
Right.
don't know.
Well, yeah. Christina says just keep your product placement next to you all day, just in case. when,
Yeah.
when the be real when the be real alert goes off, I'll just be like, take a picture with my extra gum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
No, I
Yeah.
love.
Take a picture of my GameStop uh gift cards or
Right. Yeah.
something.
No, I love that idea. I wonder because I was actually thinking about that too. How
Mhm.
are they making money off this app? You know,
I don't think they are.
you
Honestly,
don't think
I
so?
think, well, it's because I think I read an article about this application, and the person who made it was just a single developer, and he just did it because he wanted a different social media deal. So he just created the app, and also I guess that's one thing to note: BeReal is only on the mobile. It's not, from what
It's
I
not desktop.
understand. Yeah, there's no desktop version, there's no web version or whatever like that, but yeah, they just made it just because they wanted to have something there, kind of similar to like Wordle, right?
Oh yeah.
Where the person just made it because they wanted to have something to do or something like that. So
Yeah. Right.
I think
Well,
right
it's
now, well, go ahead. Sorry.
no, it's similar to how Facebook started, right? It was
Hmm.
just a way to keep people in touch. There weren't ads on there, Um, but yeah, no, what were you gonna say though?
No, no, I was just gonna say, like, so I mean, I think as it is right now, it may not get any ads, but I think for it to be truly sustainable, it has to get some form of revenue coming in, whether it be ads, sponsorship deals, or something similar to that.
Right.
Um, it
Influencers. some.
Yeah, which would be weird. Like, I don't know how that would work, but
I mean,
again, they would have to, because the problem is that as the user base grows, um, the cost of maintaining the application and server space and all sorts of other stuff like that would dramatically increase.
yeah. Yeah. Well, and it would muddy up what this app is, right? All of those
Yep.
things, whether it's ads or influencers or all that kind of stuff, it would take away from what this app is, which is really just pure. And
Hmm.
again, it's a way to keep in touch with other people. Right now, I feel like the purest form of social media, which really goes against a lot of what we're saying, but I would say it's YouTube, which I really don't consider YouTube social media, but it kind of tries to be in certain ways.
Hmm.
Um, but it's just entertainment. That's what it is. It's entertainment or it's information or, all those kind of things. Yes, it's ad funded, but you can't really fake what you got going on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm.
so I like that. Um, but with this, yeah, I think that any changes to that's kind of the hard part is how are you going to make money? How are you going to make this sustainable? Because any changes to this, I think, would take away from what makes it good.
Yep.
And honestly, if you added any of those things where now, you have influencers on here, you have people that are trying to be real for clout, or you have ads and all that stuff, people are just going to go back to what they already have. They're going to go back to Instagram, they're going to go back to TikTok, all that kind of stuff.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And so, yeah, it does make it it's really difficult because, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the other problem too, is that you don't want the app to be stale, right? Because I
Yeah.
feel like right now
It
it's
could be.
cool
It could get
because
pretty
it's
stale in like a month. Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, right now it's pretty cool because it's new, it's different. It feels less like soul sucking in some ways.
Yeah, definitely.
Um but we already know that user retention is hard, right?
Yeah.
You see it on like YouTube videos, you see it on any of the other social media platforms. That's the reason why they have to consistently innovate and add new features and change different things and all sorts of stuff like that. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's the only reason why Snapchat is still afloat, is because they put in so much work into like their filters, right? The different types
Yeah.
of filters that you can do, that helps that platform kind of really elevate
Stay
itself,
fresh.
right?
I
And I
agree.
don't know what you can do to be real, to um,
He
uh,
said it.
to enhance the experience anymore, right? I almost feel like right now it's almost at peak. Um, enhance, or I guess I should really preface it by saying enhance the experience without muddying the waters, like you said before, or without like diminishing what the platform is itself.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, the end verdict here um is that we really like this app, right? I mean,
Yeah.
for me, I'm going to give it a chance. What about you? You
Yeah,
think
no,
you
I'm gonna give it a chance. I really am,
Yeah.
because I think it is a very refreshing taste, and I'm gonna see if I use it more, say, than like Instagram. I'm not even on Instagram that much, but like, I think if Be Real is able to engage me enough, or even just make me feel better enough to where I don't have to get on like those other social media platforms and I can try to solo it. And I
Yeah.
think I might even try and do that, as best as I can, at least try
Like
to
not use
solo.
the others, just use Be Real. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Just solo it completely. Um, I mean, of course, we have to do certain things for the podcast for Facebook, but
Yeah.
I want to try and do that, and I want to see how my life change, or at least how my outlook on certain things are. Um, because maybe that is the enhancement. Maybe
Yeah.
that is the elevated portion of it.
Sure.
Um, is the amount of time and the amount of um, just overall like um I guess thought process, or I guess really your time and your emotional or mental state is what you get back, is
Yeah.
what you um, are able to have. I'm losing my words there, but
No,
essentially, yeah.
I think we know what you're saying. And the thing is, like, that is kind of the thing that we've been dancing around with this entire discussion, really, is that this is a way, and maybe we realize through, if let's say we took all the users that use Instagram and put them on Be Real, right? Maybe we'll realize that we're not so different after all. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Maybe we'll realize we have more in common than we thought we do. And maybe like the anger and the dissonance in society would be less, because you wouldn't have, I mean, look, I get entertained by these platforms, don't get me wrong, but it's also easy to slide on there and think this person has it better than I do.
Hmm.
I can't believe that person would blah blah blah. These type of things that are just based off of a moment in time, but they seem like they sum that entire person up, right?
Yep.
Because it's well crafted, well formatted, and well planned out. But when it comes to Be Real, it is none of those things. And again, it just allows you to connect with those people that you know. Um, I like it. I think it's a great idea. I'm gonna give it a shot,
Hmm.
and I
Hmm.
will say that I'm gonna give it a shot, but it will be interesting, pardon me, to see how this progresses over time. Like you were saying, what changes are they going to make to the app to keep it interesting? Have they made any changes already to the app to keep it interesting? If they keep it like this, I would like it. Depending on who among my friends ends up on the app, I would like it.
Yep.
Um, but will it keep me interested? I would say probably yes, just because this is really why I wanted social media to begin with, was this kind of
Yeah.
thing. Um, and again, if I didn't have a band or a podcast, I wouldn't post on any of the other platforms. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah,
yeah, so
maybe that's the big thing, is getting people onto the application, and that's your refresh.
yeah, yeah,
That's your
right,
your newness to the app, is just getting more people there.
yeah,
Sorry
exactly.
to
So
interrupt you.
I'll give you an example, right? So like, say Wakanda Forever just came out, right?
Mhm.
And you, me, Devon, we all get a Be Real notification in the theater, which would suck. But we're just sitting there and we all take a photo of us in the theater. Then we go home, we see it, we're like, dude, that's so cool. All of us, all three of us, the three amigos, went and saw this movie on the same night, right? And then we get to talk about
Mhm.
that and that kind of thing. I think that's the conversation that sparks, rather than like a mass blast that's like, all right, scroll, scroll, scroll. I saw Wakanda Forever, and you're like, okay, dude, cool. Like, keep,
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly.
It's
Exactly.
like it's literally different in the presentation. So,
Yep.
anyway, I like it. I think it's good. I think it's good for you. Like, if you want to keep in touch with those that you're close to and that matter to you, um, then get on Be Real, because you're not really gonna do it on any other platform.
Exactly.
um,
Exactly. Yeah, it's such a different experience than what you've ever experienced, or at least it brings you back to your roots, if you are like us, right? People who are very early social media people, or we remember social media before it became what it is.
yeah.
Um, Be Real kind of takes you back to that time.
Yeah, no, it does. It does. Yeah, I would agree with that. And just the ability to, again, keep in touch in a very natural and non-superficial way with those I care about. Yeah. I think it's great. Uh-oh. There it is. Another one? No. Yeah. Follow us
No,
on
no,
Be
keep
Real, by
yours.
the way. Yeah, yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. If you're getting on Be Real, follow us on there, you know.
Yeah, we're on Be
Although
Real now.
I guess technically, you know what? Don't follow us,
Why
because
not?
that takes away from the app. That takes away from
Right.
what the whole purpose of the app is.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Yeah. Well, I get that. You're right.
I
I
mean,
was so
yeah,
used to the other platforms, man. I'm trying to be, promote it for the cloud. It's my bad.
yeah, man.
It's a
No, no,
bad habit.
we gotta, we exactly. See, we gotta get out of the mentality of normal social media. Remember, Be Real's not social media.
It's not another social media. It says so when you download it. So,
Exactly.
all right. Well, I think we had a good discussion on this, a good unboxing of Be Real, if you will. It
Hmm.
says 20 million or 22 million people use it every day. But I would still say most people don't know what it is,
Yep.
or what it's about. So hopefully we helped in some way. And I'll be honest, like I said earlier, this was a pleasant surprise for me. I really didn't think. I mean, I am very anti social media. Sorry, Facebook, if you're reading the if your AI is reading the closed caption right now, Facebook, please don't don't kill the reach of this video. Um,
Exactly.
but
Don't shadow ban us.
yeah, don't shadow ban us, please. But with that said, this really is all the things I think virtual communication should be. Not too much, not too little, and authentic.
Hmm.
So yeah, anyway, I'm a big fan of it. In fact, I'll add this last thing before we sign out. There's a couple of people, I don't even text them. We just do voice text back and forth. And
Hmm.
I love that. You get to have kind of a real conversation, but like when you're available.
Yep.
You understand the inflection in people's voices, you understand like where they're coming from with something way better, and you have a fully fleshed out conversation, albeit like in segments, but
Yeah.
it's different than a text. And I wish I could do that with Android phones, man. I really do. Um,
I mean, you can.
you can, you can. The process is not as simple.
It's just a
You
little different. And again, I'm just gonna harp on this always. This is Apple's fault.
I love that the camera zoomed in right when you did that. Oh man. If I like had to sum up Denison's life in 5 quotes, one of those five would be, "This is Apple's fault."
I
So
mean, half of it is. Half of it is their dadgum walled garden, um, business practices are hurting other people.
yeah, no, I
It's hurting
understand.
other people to be real with.
Right, I get that, sure. Or everyone could just get an iPhone and it'll be good.
Oh, all right, Tim Cook.
Yeah, yeah, right. Literally, that's the Tim Cook logic right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
Just get
yeah,
your grandma an iPhone. It'll be fine.
yeah, you can contact her wherever you want at that point. Not a big deal. Yeah. No, anyway, I think we had a great discussion on this. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for jumping on the comments. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And thank you for being real with us. And we'll catch up with you next week.